Hey everybody, I am Drak.
I'm Shadow.
And before we get this thing started, Alex, I need you to take a deep breath.
Oh boy.
We are playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and we are in the dreaded Metropolis Zone. And by dreaded, I mean the Alex rant stage. Because we're probably going to have a lot of rants. Parents, have your children leave the rooms.
Yeah, unfortunately I might have to start dropping some F-bombs here. I probably won't get that gratuitous with my language, but...
We may have to start using some meditation techniques with Alex.
Okay, welcome to Metropolis Zone, everybody. This is the most dickish stage ever devised by Sonic Team.
And we're off to a great start.
You want the most example of the most cheap enemy placements and the most ridiculous obstacles and the longest stage devised by man. Well, this is it. Okay, it's probably not the longest. I think that will always go to Eggman Land from Sonic Advance. Not Advance, Werehog game, Unleashed. I could not summon the title for some reason. Yeah, that'll go
What's the gimmick that's in this game? Oh, Werehog! Okay, what's the Werehog gimmick one?
Oh, that was dumb.
Death number 1.
Okay, I know we're a little late, but I forgot to mention this far earlier. In case anybody's wondering, are we gonna do a complete full Sonic franchise run? No, we're not.
No.
We're gonna play, of the classic games, we're gonna play up through Sonic 3 Knuckles, and then we're gonna move on to the adventure games.
Yeah, we've been getting questions as to whether or not we would do, like, the Sonic Advance games, for example, or Sonic and the Secret of the Rings, and Sonic the Black Knight. And here's the bottom line of it. It's not that they're, well, we're in debate on the good and badness of the games, but at the same time, there are games we like and there are games we don't like, and therefore we can't really wax nostalgic about the games we hate. Because really all you can talk about if they're bad is compare them to the ultimate bad in the Sonic franchise.
Absolutely.
I refuse to name it. It is the Sonic game that shall not be named.
Sonic 06.
No! It's like Voldemort, Alex!
Oh, crap.
We don't name it! You didn't see me flinch, but I flinched. Oh, that's such a painful game. Alright, so yeah, we will cover a lot of the Sonic canon, but like for the gimmick games, I think we even argued about it. We tried to justify doing them, and we just couldn't do it.
Right. If you really want like a complete franchise, and especially completionist game run, I recommend to watch Clement. I can never remember his full YouTube actually username. It's like Clement LJ something number. But he's brilliant. I follow him a lot, and he's done pretty much everything so far.
Well,
like I think he just finished Secret Rings not long ago. Ow! See what I mean about dickish placement of everything in this level? But yeah, go watch the Great Clement if you want a full completionist Sonic run through, because he's been playing them all so far.
Yeah, we'll definitely plug his work, but I mean the bottom line also is that if we went into the full Sonic canon of everything, first of all, we've already missed games.
Yeah.
Second of all, the canon's too huge. It's like if we were gonna do Mario LPs, you know, you gotta do the full canon. None of us own a CDI, and unfortunately you have to kind of count that one. None of us, or neither of us owns a PC that could run Mario Teaches Typing. And nor would we want to play Mario Teaches Typing. So, you know, this is also just kind of a disclaimer for any other staple franchises we hit. Would we hit all their sub-deals? If they're good enough. Yeah. If we think we could get enough out of it, then we will. But mostly we want to give you something that you're going to enjoy. And Sonic Spinball, we may not be able to do enough for you to enjoy it.
And I'm really terrible at Sonic Spinball, by the way. In all my time,
Sonic Spinball, everybody's terrible at it. It's Spinball!
I've never been able to pass the Lava Powerhouse, the second level in the game.
Yeah, the only time I've ever seen Sonic Spinball beaten, I was over at a friend's house, and it was by sheer fluke that we beat it.
Yes.
We didn't even realize we had beaten it until the credits rolled.
And that's because the showdown is a mercifully hard mercilessly. I don't know my words. Me can't speak English.
You say you can speak English, but you cannot.
The showdown in Sonic Spinball is unmerciful. It is ridiculously hard. I know my sister used to play Sonic Spinball quite a bit.
Wow. How can I see her playing that? Dang it.
She can play it, and you know, she's always been better at it than me. She could get up to showdown.
Well, she also just will deal with the punishment until she gets good at it. I mean, you know, I have to compliment his sister and my wife. If you haven't followed this, yes, we're brothers-in-law. So, yeah, I can see that, because she will put herself through the punishment in order to get done. In order to learn the game, to get all the achievements, etc., etc.
Yes, and like I said, she could play up to Showdown. I could never get past Lava Powerhouse, but she could. And she could never beat the Showdown.
Yeah.
Even Clement, who played through all of Sonic Spinball, he had to use an emulator for the Showdown just so he could use the save states.
Yep. It's just, that's the way it is.
You know?
So it's not that we want to try and pull a dick move to you guys and say, oh, we're only going to do the ones that we like. It's more along the lines of, you know, some of them, you know, Alex may like more than me. And we're going to get actual material from them. Except for Sonic 06. F Sonic 06. We're not doing it. No. I will not have, I already have enough brain aneurysms. We're not doing it.
I just can't talk him into it, guys. I know I've been trying to say I'm going to do it,
but... He still tries!
I just can't get him.
He works my fatty little mind.
Let's go up.
He's at least, in his credit, he's at least gotten me to consider the idea. And since we have a lot of games to go through, it's going to be a while considering. So...
You know, back on the expansive Sonic canon, there's also Game Gear games, and...
yeah, that's what I'm talking about, of games we've already skipped.
And, you know, and Sonic 2 on Game Gear, that's also unmerciful. That's just unbearably hard.
Well, and I've also heard that the Sonic Advance games are kind of unforgiving, in a way.
The Advance are bad. If I could play them, anyone can play them.
Okay. Because, like, a lot of people were saying, no, this is catering mainly to the Sonic Hardcore, and it's more of the higher difficulty curve, because that's who's going to play it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I haven't played them, so I can't vouch for that, and on top of that, I just don't know if we could get enough material for them. And there's way too many characters to keep track of.
Well, you gotta give Sonic Team credit. They don't actually have a lot of spin-off titles for their individual characters, so...
No, and some of the spin-offs have actually been good ideas. I mean, I still remember hearing about I never played it, unfortunately. It was a RPG, I think it was made by Ubisoft, that was fairly good from what people were telling me, so you can at least make the credit that Sonic has gone into as many franchises, or as many genres as Mario. If you're not counting all the wacky sports games Mario did. You know, I'm kind of surprised, Alex, we haven't had a whole lot of rants in its Metropolis Zone.
Mostly because you've been distracting me by talking about it, but
exactly.
You've seen how much trouble I'm having, especially because of these enemies. Dude, the ones that look like praying mantises, well, they're called Slythers. Not to be confused with Slyther, the executive producer. Video Bridge reference again. And they just, like I said, this stage has the most dickish enemy placement ever. Like those exploding starfish. You'll find a lot of them on running up. Screws!
And you'll notice I'm not exactly arguing with him. I agree. You know, Metropolis is one of those overly overpowered zones where they really decided to say, oh, we're going to screw with you, and we're going to make it so that it looks like you can't get any further. If this had been in the arcade, this would have been called a quarter sucker stage.
Absolutely.
And there would have been many reasons why it was a quarter sucker stage and why nobody ever beat it in the arcade. Unless they sat there for hours and just brought in like $100 worth of quarters. And I've seen that happen. And that's dick move right there. Sometimes some people want to play those games. I remember a dude who did that with Dragon's Lair. This is an arcade I don't think Alex would remember, but me and my wife would. I was there one day, and this guy decided to play Dragon's Lair all the way through like 3 times.
Wow.
And he brought like $50 worth of quarters. And Dragon's Lair was like the only game in that arcade at that given moment that I liked. So I was pissed.
Come on, I cannot get up this stupid slant. Do I just suck this much?
No. It's that the game hates you that much.
I'm gonna like.
In some cases in this level, they've kind of dinked around with the physics to rig you to fail.
Maybe there's an alternate path I can go.
Not to my knowledge, but I'd say at least try it.
I'm probably gonna time out. I'm gonna get a game over because I already lost like 2 lives already. I could not get up the stupid slant. I am just.
The thing that's frustrating is that you're getting close.
You know, in terms of Sonic games that I played, I never played 2 nearly as much. I played it a fair share, don't get me wrong.
There we go.
I always played 3 and Knuckles a lot more.
Well, 3 is kind of considered the apex of the 2D era. So
yeah.
That's where they got level design right. And there we go.
We made it through Metropolis Zone 2. And
I didn't remember this one having a 3-act deal.
Yes, it has a 3-act deal.
Huh.
Well, that's because, again, this was only meant to be 2 acts, and there's going to be a short level after.
But the level was too big. Okay.
Well, now they just ran out of time.
I gotcha.
They just, that was what was going to be the Genocide City Zone.
Gotcha.
Which they renamed Cyber City Zone, of course, when they found out what genocide meant. That's still the funniest story
Failure
ever.
by dictionary.
You know, so yeah, it was gonna just have one short 1-act stage to follow, and this game was gonna be like 18 stages. But of course they ran out of time, so they had to cut down, and they just they didn't palette swap, they just reused Metropolis.
That actually makes me kind of wonder, did they look it up in the dictionary, or did Sega of America finally end up telling them?
I think Sega of America had to tell them.
And they're just like, oh, you crazy Americans and your multi-translations. You don't mean that, do you? No, yeah, we totally do, man. Oh, then we have a problem.
We're so vaguely racist right now, but oh well.
Hey, look. Are we half as bad as some of the people who play FPSs get on Xbox Live? Really? and here's the thing. I grew up in a family of programmers. I have to laugh at some programming, especially like multi-continent, because translation is such a big deal.
Yeah.
And some of the biggest errors that can happen in programming are translation errors.
All your base are belong to us.
Uh-huh. Oh, dude, go into the Final Fantasy series, you're crying out loud, how many things got mistranslated, and it's all mythology. So, you know, that's just the way it goes. Even, this is the part that makes me laugh, is some of the actual mythology of Japan got mistranslated in the Japanese version.
Wow. Okay, welcome back to Metropolis 3. We had a bit of a hiccup in me namely getting a game over.
Do we need to have you take another deep breath there, Alex?
This level is punishing and I hate it so much.
It's okay. Take a deep breath. It'll all be over soon.
Look at that! That's such a cheap move! I can't do this anymore. This is a good game, really. It's still not as bad as 06, which had Iblis for it. It's like
do I need to go make like a little sub-screen? Please give us a moment while we have a nervous breakdown. Because you just completely reminded me of like Linkara and the continuity alarm. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! Either that or Spoonie Experiment. Please pause. We're going to take a pause while Spoonie takes his pills.
Or those like great moments of The Simpsons where they'd always like where something would happen to Kent Brockman and they'd have to like cut off the air.
Exactly. Actually, it's one of the best jokes I think that was made that kind of referenced Kent Brockman recently. Alex does not play Blizzard games, but I do, and I just recently went through StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, and they have a newscaster that reminds me of both a real newscaster as well as Kent Brockman. He has a nervous breakdown, and they kind of did the same thing with his whole deal. I especially like when they got a second newscaster to come in and say, yeah, the last time we heard anything about, his name's Donnie Vermillion. The last thing we heard about Donnie was that he was walking down the street, reading the manifesto, and having a jar of peanut butter in his hand, but completely naked.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I mean, he's a clear reference to insert whatever news person you don't, or whatever news person you think is a jerk here. I personally thought he was, you know, a certain MSNBC caster who can't seem to hold a job to save his life.
Oh, Keith Olbermann.
Sorry, guys, but, you know, when most of the reasons that he's leaving are because he's getting fired. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but...
No! Stupid spike platforms! Why?
I
Why?
have a feeling that this one is not going to be a Let's Play, it's going to be a death through. Like, have you seen that with some of the LPs of Dark Souls? They're not LPs, they're death throughs. Because you're gonna die a lot.
Actually, you know, there's another great channel you can go look up if you want a relatively complete Sonic LP experience. Some Call Me Johnny, or his other channel, Brain Scratch Comms. When they
you said the channel's called Some Call Me Johnny?
Yeah, that's his name.
I think I've actually seen an LP from him.
Yeah, he's great. I love him. Although I have to absolutely detest his calling Shadow the Hedgehog a worse game than 06. Like, you don't have to like Shadow the Hedgehog, it's okay. But there's nothing that's ever going to be worse than 06 in terms of a Sonic game.
It depends. I mean, the reason that 06 is bad is motivation. And so in a lot of cases, I can't see that argument because, well, Sega got plenty of time to work on that, didn't they? It wasn't rushed out the door.
No, Shadow wasn't maybe it was a little rushed because...
I know they wanted to try and make it before the holiday season, but by the time the holidays were around anyway, I mean, they were almost done. So
you know, Shadow, whatever flaws it has, and it has them, it still has a lot more polish and refinement than 06 does.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but, you know, the biggest flaw of Sonic the Hedgehog is that, unfortunately, they were trying to expand on Shadow's character, and there wasn't much character to begin with. They were trying to build it, and they didn't build it very well. So, you could make that argument, but Sonic was established at that given point, and that, yeah, I don't know if I would say that Shadow was worse than 06.
Sorry, I got off on a little rant about some comic.
It's Metropolis Zone! We're ranting about everything! Let's rant about donuts.
But, yeah, again, I was gonna go back to what I was actually getting at when I was referring to Some Call Me Johnny and Brain Scratch Comms. They did Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis, which was a Game Boy Advance port of Sonic 1, and a very poor one, I might add.
Oh, yeah.
And they kept dying so much, so he did sort of a death run montage, basically. set to the supersonic music of this game. So, like, eventually he got sick of it. He just sped up the footage to the point he could finish it.
Hey, man, at least he didn't do, like he was trying to do a... And I've seen this happen with like, Mario games and stuff like that, where they will try and do, like, a Diablo no-death run. You can't die. And the first time you die, LP's over, kind of thing. So at least he wasn't doing that.
You'll notice I just jumped off because I was trying to get the starfish to explode without killing me. So, and unfortunately I missed the platform, so I gotta do this again.
He doesn't get the point of Metropolis Zone. The point of Metropolis Zone is to screw
Come
you.
on! See what I mean? The enemy placement in this stage is ridiculous! It's like, what were they thinking?
It really, in my opinion, it really was the developers just saying, we want to dick with our fans. We want to see how hardcore they'll get in order to get this done. And I remember having plenty, you know, I'm giving Alex crap. We've all done it.
Oh, stupid starfish! I hate these starfish!
We've all done it in this stage. It is painful. This is what makes a lot of people's mark as a Sonic fan, is that they mastered this stage.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's like one dude who just plays Sonic 2 all the time, and he's like, oh, Metropolis Zone, it's child's play, man.
And you know, this is Clement's favorite game of all time, and favorite Sonic game of all time, so he's a master at this, of Sonic 2. And I'm not, because Sonic 2 is a great game, but I still like Sonic 3 and Knuckles better.
Yeah.
Sonic 2 was certainly a milestone, and I'm very happy for it. But of course, I'd still like the save function. Now that's a turn off.
That's one of the things I liked about Sonic 3 is that it did have a save function. And I think even the save function was a little bugged, because I don't think you could actually save it, like, at an Act 2 of a level.
No, it would always restart you on Act 1.
So, you know,
it was still
a save function, but it wasn't a complete one.
Yeah. But it was still pretty good, considering Sonic 1 and 2 didn't have save functions. And we're coming up to the boss, everybody. And this is the one, right below me is the one bottomless pit that I know of in Metropolis Zone. So
Alex has a look on his face of, please let this pain end!
So it's a little like Metallic Madness in that way. No real bottomless pits up until this point. Okay,
And I remember looking at this version of Robotnik as a kid and going, how are they expecting me to beat this?
Yeah, eventually his... let's not get into double entendres here, but eventually the little orbs that circles around him expand enough to the point you can actually hit him. Or you can do like a Mercy hit and just exploit the Mercy invincibility, take a hit, use them.
I think that's what we all ended up doing. That was a strat that I got told at school a lot.
Yeah.
Let's just wait for him to expand him and they'll never hit you at a certain corner. So like, for example, that. And there you go, Mercy hit. But now that I think about that, that's more along the developers giving you a dick move and saying, yeah, you think, if you want, we'll hold your hand, newbie.
They never did explain a lot in these early games. They just kind of assumed you knew what you were doing.
Mm-hmm. Or that you were willing to put yourself through the punishment in order to learn. Mm-hmm. And that's really what 2D side-scrollers were in a lot of cases, is you learn through death a lot.
Gotta get my humming.
It's one of the things I've got to laugh at with some people who are like, yeah, honed adult senses. No, you have better dexterity and all that. I'll give you that, but you also died a ton as a kid, and so you learned your lessons.
Absolutely.
Oh man, go!
Oh, come on, Rain!
And now we're down to the wire.
Ugh, stupid. I don't want to play through Metropolis again!
It's okay, Alex. Remain calm. It'll all be fine. In the arms of the angel.
Ooh.
And there we go.
And I'm done, and I don't have to play through it again.
It's okay, Alex. Let it out.
I'm done.
Let it out.
Sweet mercy, I'm done.
And we freed the squirrels and the bald eagles, and we are now done with Metropolis Zone, thankfully, but I can't remember what's the next one?
Sky Chase.
Oh, Sky Chase. All right, we'll be back for Sky Chase Zone in a bit.